Rebecca Gray, and I'm from the Health Sponsorship Council, and I work in research to do with the problem gambling program we have here. So I'm here to talk about some of the research behind the Health Sponsorship Council's efforts to minimise gambling harm, which we do via a public communications brand. Particularly, it's called Choice Not Chance, and it's going out to mass media advertising as well as some resources that we send to communities. I've been talking more about the research side of things because that's what I do. So I've been talking about the progress that our brand's made over the last few years since we started in 2007, in particular looking at some of the population surveys that we did before we started and then more recently, just to find out whether things have actually been changing on a whole of population level for what people in New Zealand are saying about gambling. It's not just a brand, obviously, it's sort of a series of messages. So we started off talking to the whole of the population, or the whole of everyone who was looking at the advertising, and just saying, hey, just be aware that gambling can be an issue for everyone. Then we moved to saying it can be an issue, here are some specific examples of people, what they've done, how they've helped, and then moving again to become a bit more specific to say, well look, if you're in a position where you know someone whose gambling could be becoming an issue, here's what you can do, here's some encouragement, here's some information. So becoming a bit more specific in terms of harm prevention, I suppose. Part of the thing that I find interesting is looking at some of the survey data and saying, well, has anything changed? And between the few years that we did these quite similar surveys, we found that actually fewer people were saying that they were familiar with gambling harm at their household level. So there weren't as many people saying that their family had been experiencing issues to do with gambling, which is great. At the same time, perhaps they were actually no more aware of things they could do to stop gambling problems, but I suggest that maybe because they simply didn't need to be. They were more aware of advertising about gambling harm, so we know that that had at least changed. Ideally, and what I sort of concluded with is that, okay, so we're talking to everyone in New Zealand, we're just saying, hey, be aware that there's help out there. So ideally everyone is aware that there's help out there. Ideally everyone is aware that it can be an issue and is aware that there's something you can do about it. But it's those people who we know are in a position to actually do something about gambling harm now. Those are the people we need to be getting a bit more information to. And ideally we'll manage to do that for as many of those people as possible so that we know that they can actually take action and reduce the harm among their families and their people.